Welcome to Now, Near, and the Future with Naila Mir and Quinn Harrington. A podcast that's part crystal ball, part microscope, and part rocket ship.
Episode 10, 2 Truths and a Lie, with not-so-special guests Quinn and Naila. Welcome to Now, Near, and the Future. I'm Quinn Harrington.
And I'm Naila Mir. Today's episode's a bit different. We're taking a break from our usual format, aren't we?
How so?
Usually we have special guests, but we are the special guests, so you certainly are special.
Well, great. We've run out of guests. No one wants to talk to us.
No. We planned this for quite a while, right? So we've always said that we're going to do something which is more about us and us getting to know each other, and in the process, people will get to know us.
Well, isn't that what we do every episode?
We do, but sometimes we talk more about the work side of things. Hopefully we'll talk more about us in this episode.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
My special guest is co-host Naila Mir, founder of P3 Connect, a communications agency based in London.
And my special guest is co-host Quinn Harrington, founder of Harrington Design Company, a brand and video production company. Very clever name, Quinn Harrington. How long did it take you to come up with that name?
It's a long story.
We will get into that, maybe.
Or maybe a short story.
Or maybe a short story. Shall we move into our, as always, now segment?
Now.
Not just yet. I've
really?
pawned our rocket ship for a time machine. So we're going to go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
So you were born in England, but spent 24 years in Pakistan. Which one is it?
It's up to you. You're American. You'll say Pakistan. I'm British. I'll say
That's right.
Pakistan.
We're going to pronounce it however we want to anyways. What was your family dynamic like growing up between two cultures?
That is interesting. So yes, I was born in England. And we had quite a bit of moving back and forth because my dad is a business person. So he would take us back to Pakistan. So when I was 6, I went back. Then I came back when I was 12. Then I was 16. I went back to Pakistan, spent another 20 years over there. So the dynamics of the culture, it was mainly me getting used to Pakistan and the way things worked there. So when I moved back at 16, the first thing I had forgotten and I was questioning was, do people speak English? What am I going to do? What school am I going to go to? How is this going to work? And of course, when I went there, everyone spoke English. So the first shock. The second one was the whole educational difference. So I studied till year 7 in England, and then I went to Pakistan. And with all this shifting, what I didn't realize was how high the standard of education was in Pakistan compared to England. When I studied there till year 7 and I came back to England, I was actually way ahead by 3 years in education. So England was not as high in quality as Pakistan was. So that was another.
Well, I don't know where that puts America because we're probably below England and definitely below Pakistan.
Oh my God, I don't know, because you know what? English is like our first language, right? So how we construct our sentences is by natural, right? We don't have to think about grammar. But when I went to Pakistan, they were so good at grammar and all these things that I wasn't. I just happened to know how to construct sentences better, but they were better at grammar and writing than I was.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the third thing that really bothered me was law and order and the way things worked in Pakistan versus England. So seatbelts, no seatbelts, policemen stopping you whenever they felt like for money. So I used to get quite frustrated with that because I was born here and I'm pretty much into, this is how things work. It's safe. It's a system. Over there, systems don't exist sometimes.
Gotcha. Wow, that's quite a difference. Although, London is very international. I don't know what it was like back then, but today it's very international. So,
yes,
just as likely to run into someone from Africa as you are from, native born.
Exactly. And you get so many connections and, You'll say, oh, my mom's from Africa. She's from Africa. And she would be talking to, she knows 6 different languages. So here, she'll be talking to different people in Swahili, in Kachi Gujarati, in Urdu, in Punjabi, in English. So she met everyone she could talk to.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
amazing. How many languages do you know?
2.
2? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, in school we learnt French, which I've forgotten. I learned a bit of German, forgot that too. I am now trying to learn a bit of Portuguese because my husband is Portuguese speaking. So I don't want to be left out when my daughter grows up.
Right.
And
They'll have their own secret language, like Pig Latin, and you'd be like, stop talking about me. I know you're talking about me.
Exactly. But he's going to feel the same because she will know Urdu.
Pro tip, don't let him know that you are learning Portuguese. So then when they just start talking, you're like, I heard exactly what you said.
Where am I going to get this time? But we'll probably need to fit this into the diary. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. So you learned a little bit about me. What about you? So I know you are based in Jacksonville,
Florida.
I've known you for some time because you told me we worked or you came to Unilever and we did a video together. Have you always been in Jacksonville, Florida?
When I filled out my form to get my legal name changed, they said, list every address that you've had since birth. And I was like, okay, I'm going to need an extra piece of paper because as a military brat, we moved, all over the United States, mostly on the East Coast, but I have bounced around between Virginia, Tampa, Florida, this part of Florida, Kansas City, Illinois, Texas, and some other places I don't even really remember. We always moved every 3 to 4 years. So growing up, family was important, and because they were like the only friends that you really had long term, and you were always sort of reluctant to, make friends because you knew you were going to have to move in a few years.
So you know how when you're younger, your accents or you pick up languages very quickly? Do you have different accents between all these states, and did you change accents as often?
That's a good question because my parents are from rural North Carolina. So growing up, they definitely had kind of like a Southern drawl, and I did too as well. But I've definitely lost that over the years, except when I go back to North Carolina, I pick it back up really quickly.
I'm not very good at detecting accents, right? So if I'm watching a movie, Hollywood movie, I will not tell. If I'm watching something in England, fine, I will, say, oh yeah, that's not London, but something else. I can never tell. So one thing is, how about giving me a sentence?
Get to the restaurant, you're going to want to jump in your pickup truck. You're going to drive down the lane about 2 miles. It's a little bit yonder past that windmill. You're going to take a right, and then you're going to go another mile. You're going to pass this big oak tree, and then when you get to that red barn, not the blue barn, the red barn, you're going to stop, and you're going to go around back that barn, and that's your parking spot. And the restaurant is this little nook, and they got the greatest cornbread and collard greens, and their barbecue's okay, but I think you're really going to enjoy it, and you're going to love that waitress. She's such a sweetheart, and when she tells you bless your heart, she doesn't really mean that. She means you dumb bitch.
Oh no. That's pretty cool, and it's quite entertaining actually.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I used to do a really good Bill Clinton accent. I've kind of lost it a little bit, because he's got that kind of gravelly Alabama voice, and Southern is not Southern everywhere. Like Mississippi Southern is totally different than Florida Southern, that's different than Georgia or Kentucky or Nashville. And as you start getting up past West Virginia, which is like sort of Northern Southern, they start to sort of lose it a little bit.
That is interesting. I was watching Family Feud on YouTube. I often watch Family Feud clips. and he's funny, right? Steve Harvey. One of the question was which states, I think he said, or cities say y'all. And the first thing that came to my head was Quinn. I remembered you for some reason. I don't know what, because you said it once or twice or many times.
I mean, Florida is really 2, maybe 3 different states. So you've got North Florida, which is more like South Georgia. So that's definitely the South. As you start moving into Orlando, that's not the South anymore. When you get into the Miami area, that's a whole different country. So Florida is like really 3 different states in one.
Do you know, I've only been to New York. That's it. Oh, no, that's not true. I've been to New York. Cities now we're talking about, right? I've been to New York,
Right.
San Francisco. Then my friend lives in Laguna Beach. So whatever came on that side, I went and I did the walk. What is the broad walk?
Right.
Where all the stars are. The
Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, so I've seen that, but I have not seen anything else about America.
Well, that's what most people think of when they think of America is New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C. That's really about it. But that's only like a tiny microcosm of this huge country.
Yeah.
So you have like what we call flyover country, where you're going from one coast to the west. And from my point of view, that's like the real America. Not discounting New York or L.A., but it's really kind of more like the extremes of our country. And even New York and L.A. sort of compete each other for who's the coolest.
Because I watch Jimmy Kimmel's show too, quite a bit. And he's always talking about the two, because you have some comedian talk shows that are New York based and some that are LA based, and he's always talking about the two.
Tell me about your mom. What kind of person is she? How did she influence who you became?
I referenced that she was born in Africa, Tanzania, and she moved to England when she was 20. I met my dad. And she's Muslim, but she's from a different sect of Islam. So we have lots of sects in Islam. So they're different kind of communities. Sectors.
Okay. Just clarifying that for the listeners. She's talking about religious sects.
Sectors of Islam. So there was a cultural difference there. But my mom has always taught us doing the right thing. So this whole community, caring for people, family, values, all of that came from my mom. The fact that we are hardworking, business minded, some of it comes from my dad, but most of it also comes from my mom. So I think she's taught us the life lessons that we needed to be good people today. And she is still like that. I mean, she's so sweet. She's not even harmed an ant. That's what I tell people. That's how sweet she is. And throughout her life, in all the most difficult times that she's had, very stressful life she's had, being the person she is and values she's taught us has always protected her. So whenever she's been in trouble, because she's been so loving to everyone else, they've always come to help her at the right moment. So yeah, well, my mum, she's the rock of the family. So we all gather at her house. Yeah, every Saturday
I can see
we
that
all
definitely
at her
reflected
house.
in you. With your.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Aw, that is sweet. Oh, by the way, you love cooking, and if you ever want recipes, my mum is the person. I always said you should have a restaurant.
I've been asking for them since episode 1, so I'm not going to hold my breath.
Do you know what? Shall we just do one episode on recipes that we share with each other?
Yeah, I think we should. Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, that would be a cultural thing as well. So new things that you've got. And yeah, okay, perfect.
It's going to be our next Across the Pond segment.
Oh, lovely. I would like that. I want to know, what was Quinn like when she was 10 years old? Or just your personality. What did you love? What did you used to do? How did you keep yourself entertained?
Kind of starting around 12, 13, we moved to Brandon, Florida, which is just outside of Tampa. There's this kid on the street named James, and he was a skateboarder from California. Mm-hmm. And he was a little bit older than us, and all of us younger kids just kind of idolized him. So, of course, we all got into skateboarding. We would build our street ramps from stolen construction wood. We'd find these sites and drag plywood and 2x4s and do our little makeshift ramps. We would skate all over Brandon, Florida. Back in the day, we were latchkey kids. My parents worked on base, which was about a 45-minute drive from where we lived. So from the time I got home from school, I was pretty much on my own. We would skate to this place called Lithia Springs. We would dive in and play around there for a while and then skate home and just have all these different adventures, going to buying candy from the candy store and just kind of doing whatever we want. We all lived within a couple houses of each other. So we had this green box, which is like a sort of an electrical box. And we would all gather at the green box to figure out what we were going to do that night.
Oh.
And we were, 7th and 8th graders. So we were still very kind of young and learning about ourselves. As we got a little bit older, we started getting into trouble. There was this nightclub. One night, we got ourselves into a little bit of trouble. I ended up throwing up in the nightclub, and they kicked me out, and that was the worst night ever. Got home, came inside. Hey, is everything okay? And I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. What'd you do? Nothing. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. So...
And I'm never
my
going
mom
to drink
doesn't listen
again.
to this podcast, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, we had lots of adventures.
Every time you say this, I don't want to drink again. I'm not going to touch it again. And
yes,
then
I did say that. I
am
never drinking again. And
you said you traveled quite a bit around America. What was your favorite place?
When I went to my first college near Roanoke, Virginia, and that's kind of the southern western part of Virginia. So it's basically Appalachia country. So the Appalachian Mountains run from Georgia all the way up to Maine. And it's a very old mountain range and the kind of place where people grow their own weed and make their own moonshine. And you'd be likely to sit on the porch while, Uncle Joe plays the fiddle and, Aunt Jan plays the washboard. And the people in Appalachia, in that part of Virginia, they're just wonderful. And they're very kind and generous. No one is really rich. No one has a lot, but, they'll give you what they have. So
Nice.
that kind of informed my upbringing about true grit in people who work hard, they're humble and live a simple life. So, I really love that experience. And also it's a really beautiful part of America that not everyone gets to see.
Well, if I ever decide to go around, I will be asking you where I should be going. And I'm more into these kind of things, right? It's about the experiences. I like to do not the touristy, but I like to see new places. I love scenery, I like the beach, but not so much because I can't swim.
I was a lifeguard, so.
Oh my God. Were you?
I was, yeah, in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was a lifeguard, and I was teaching swim lessons. And one day I asked one of the parents, I was like, how much do you pay for swim lessons? And they're like $50 a lesson. Like, okay. What if I taught both your kids for $50 a lesson, and I'll come to your house so you don't even have to come here? And they're like, that would be great. And that's how I started my first business. So, in fact, hang on a second.
No way.
This was the flyer. My first graphic design project. It says "Learn to Swim."
L2S, learn to swim.
I mean, this is just so.
I love it. You've kept
so terrible.
it. No, that's amazing.
Doing this with pay stuff. I was saving that as for a speech I was working on. But yeah, I was a lifeguard. Really enjoyed swim lessons, and that sort of gave me the first taste for having my own business. Because while all the other lifeguards were making minimum wage, I was making $50 an hour. Enjoy your lifeguarding. Enjoy yelling at kids at the pool. I'm laughing all the way to the bank.
I only dreamed of being a business person. So it's 3 things I love doing, right? Taking care of people, teaching. So I used to have an imaginary classroom, And then I would have my imaginary shop. So that was me at 8, 9, and 10. And obviously,
Okay.
I ended up in these 3 areas anyways. But yeah, I never got into making money at that age. I should have thought of those things. I was, 20-something years in corporate. So I always knew I was going to work because that's my mom. She always worked. But then I flipped it. Then I always knew I wanted to have my own business, which is what my dad used to do. So I went between the two and ended up in my long term doing my own thing, which I do love, right? The agility, work when you want to work. Obviously, when you have projects, you have to deliver on time. Now it's an art of juggling right now. So yeah, I do enjoy it.
And you have a toddler. She's
I
14 months
do.
now, right? 14, 15 months?
You are right. She is 15 months soon. Soon.
So
Yeah. Going on 3.
how do you juggle all of that? What's something about being a new mom that no one prepared you for?
It was the juggling part. And to tell you the truth, I don't think I'm there yet with the juggling. I'm every day I think, okay, this is how I'm going to do things, right? I'm going to spend this much time with Isa, and then she'll go to daycare, and then I'm going to spend this much time with work. I'll complete everything, which I never do because it never
Mm-hmm.
stops. Then I'll spend another few hours with her before she go to sleep because I want to spend as much time she spent in the daycare. Right. So if she's 6 hours in daycare, I need to have spent as much time with her as well at home. But I don't think I'm there. And no one taught me about this. Right. And now when I think about it, being pregnant was easier than now the after pregnancy stuff that has to happen.
Your life is going to get steadily easier until they start getting into their preteen years.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I mean, starting to experience that now with my 12-year-old who texted me from school asking if she can play Roblox. I'm like,
That's cool.
sorry, no.
At least she texted and asked.
Yeah, she did. I should give her some
Say,
credit for that.
yeah. She'll really appreciate
Let me
that
see if
too.
she got back to me. No,
No,
she took no
because
for
you
an
said
answer.
no.
Good. Yes. Yeah, it
No,
wasn't
but
like, yeah, getting ready to get on a podcast. Talk to you later.
Thank you for asking, though.
How did you meet your husband?
That's an interesting one too.
Oh, yeah. Tell
Well,
me more.
well, it's not. It's very quick. So,
Okay.
my brother basically said, "I have a friend who I think you're gonna really like. So, I think you should meet him, and you're gonna get along really well." And I said, okay. I mean, what's the harm? Because I was single, and he connected us, and then
How long ago was this?
wow, I'm thinking this is 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was 2018 or 19, one of those. And then, yeah, we met for the first time, and we spent 3 hours together just in the car in the park, and we got on really well. And then he asked me out again, and then again, and then again, and then it went on, and then COVID happened, and we were still there together. But yeah, it was my brother, and it's his friend. Yeah, and my brother.
So are you still indebted to him, or you're like,
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We're married now. Wait, when did you get married? What age were you when you get married? Because you have a 20-something-year-old daughter?
Yeah, she's 22. She's about to turn 23. So I got married for the first time in 2000. Yeah, in 2000. And then that one crashed and burned in about 2010. And I got married again in 2013. That one also ended disastrously in
Oh.
2013. It's just been Quinn ever since. But I
And
got 2 lovely children as parting gifts. It's not all bad.
Yeah. And your first one, was it you met at work, or did you meet at college, or how did you meet?
So I was working at the agency, and Jacksonville has this big party for the marketing and advertising community. and there was like 400 or 500 people at this hotel at the beach. I saw this blonde kind of halfway across the room,
Oh,
and I told Stacy, "He's like, I want to talk to her." Funny story is I got to chatting with Melanie, and I was standing on this deck, and she was below. She looked up, and I looked down, and I was just like, "Wow, you have the most beautiful eyes." 'Cause she had these like vibrant blue eyes. I think she was wearing like colored contacts or something. So we got to talking, and at the same time, I had this major crush on the receptionist. One of these is going to work out tonight, but I was still kind of favoring the receptionist.
okay.
And as the night ends, Melanie is walking through the lobby as she's about to leave, and I'm kind of on my way out too, but I'm still holding out for the receptionist. Because at this point, she'd had quite a few drinks, and I was like, if I have any chance, it's now. So anyhow, that didn't work out. Melanie left. She said, "This is your last chance." I was like, "I'll see ya." And I ended up going home alone. So
Oh,
I completely blew it. But I found out that she worked at the Business Journal here in Jacksonville. And so I was talking with my girlfriends about how do I like reconnect, because I knew she was going to go on vacation. She'd be out for a couple weeks. And I was like, flowers is too much because we only talked for like 10 minutes. My friend Jennifer was like, what you could do is take her to lunch. I was like, that's a good idea. I was like, how do I do that? You know what you could do is just take like a little paper bag and then just write her name on it and then put a little note in there and it say something like, I know your first day back at work from vacation might be tough, so let me take you to lunch. I went to the Business Journal, walked into the reception desk, and I said, took this paper bag and I said, this is for Melanie, and can you give it to her? And the receptionist is like, well, why don't you just give it to her yourself? And I was like, oh, no, that's fine. Just whenever you get a chance, and walked right out of the door and left, but almost blew that whole idea. But I got a call later, and we ended up going to dinner, and the rest is kind of history.
oh, that is kind of sweet. With every relationship you learn, right? So for the next one and then the next one. So I also was married before, and I was with this person for 18 years. So met him at 16 in Pakistan. And
Oh,
because
wow.
I was there, we met him at 16. He went off to Bristol University in UK. I stayed in Pakistan. He came back. We got married, stayed with him for another 9 years. So that's 18 years with one person. And then it didn't work at the end. And it happened to work out the same time I had to leave for my global role in the UK. So everything worked out. But I learned a lot from that relationship. And I don't think about the bad things anymore.
I think one of the big things I learned out of both of those marriages is that you have to be true to yourself, and obviously compromise is a core component to any successful long-term relationship. But I find often people are on their best behavior during the courtship part,
Yes.
and both of those marriages, I really rushed into them. With Melanie, my first marriage, when I had met her, remember, I picked her out of a crowd of 500 people. I felt like that I am never going to find someone as hot as she is. So, and smart and charming and all this is like, this is the high bar for me. And if I don't go after this, I can only go downhill from there.
Oh.
But, when you're putting on your best behavior and you're essentially engaged within 6 months, you don't really get to know each other. And I think that was probably a mistake on both of our parts. I think we both had our own reasons for moving so quickly. Ultimately, I feel like that the expectations going in changed once we were actually married. And then all of a sudden we realized that we really weren't that aligned. And then a kid, got involved, and now all of a sudden we have the challenges of raising a young child when we're both in our late 40s. mid to late 40s. So that was
Ah,
difficult. And we really never had much of a honeymoon.
I always said that wait till 6 months before you decide. I call it the rosy glasses. Let the rosy
Yes.
glasses come off, then you will see. But sometimes I think each thing is so individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
You deal with it so differently, each relationship. My last one was 2 years. The rosy glasses came off, but I still was in
Mm-hmm.
that relationship, started questioning, is this the right one? Is this not the right one? Then by the time I decided it was 2 years, my basic philosophy is you can love multiple people in your life over the span of how much you're living. You need to have respect. You need to have trust. You need to be able to depend on the person, and you need to be yourself. How you test your relationship is you need to be happy. And the minute you're not happy is when you have that conversation instead
Right.
of brooding in the unhappiness and trying to make things work and work and work. If you're not happy, you're not happy.
As someone who is a veteran of the wedding industry, you know, that's
I
fine for
just
you. I
realized.
just don't personally believe in the institution anymore. So it doesn't
Yeah.
mean I don't believe that there's no such thing as true love.
Yeah. Sometimes you're better,
And
happier alone. Sometimes you're not. There is no answer, right or
wow, you
wrong.
make it sound so like I'm like desperate. When you're probably just better alone. There's nothing wrong with being alone.
Well,
On that note, I feel like we should go around the room.
Around the room.
I was almost struck by lightning.
what? When?
I'm going to say about a month ago. It was, I don't know, around 8 or 9 o'clock, and I was going to pick up my daughter from the airport. She just got back from Portugal with her mom, and going to get into the car. As I open the door, I see this bright flash of light, like someone just took like a camera flash and popped it in your face. And so I was like stunned, like, where's this light coming from? And then immediately hear this crack of thunder so loud that it scared the shit out of me.
Oh
And
my
so I kind of did this sort of sideways dive into the car. And when I did that, I heard this crunching sound on my left side where like my rib cage is. And I was like, oh God, that can't be good.
Oh my God. And you got hurt from the jump into the car or it
Yeah, I got
actually
hurt
hit
from
you?
jumping into the car.
Oh, wow. I thought, oh my God, it hit you and you didn't know you got burnt.
I almost would have rather been struck by lightning than
Oh
to,
my God.
it's
Oh
awful.
my God. That's never happened to me.
Well,
Yeah.
we're in the lightning capital of the world here in Florida. We're finally in the now segment. This is your moment.
I'm a trustee on this charity. It's called ITA UK, and we focus on education. So we support education initiatives in Pakistan. So whether it's teacher training or students or sponsoring students. So I've actually got an event coming up on the 12th of September at the Pakistan High Commission. So I'm busy planning that on top of everything else that I do on a day-to-day basis. So if I wasn't busy, I'm really busy now. So we're hoping about 100 people come, people showing their innovations around education and learning, and hopefully we can, have more collaborations between UK and Pakistan. So yeah, that's exciting.
All right, let's properly introduce today's special guest, Naila Mir.
I feel so special.
Naila is the founder of P3 Connect UK, a sustainability consultancy focused on empowering people with passion and purpose to create a meaningful impact. Born in England and raised in Pakistan for 24 years, Naila brings a unique cross-cultural perspective to her work in corporate social responsibility and employee engagement. A lot of P's in that paragraph. She spent 14 years at Unilever leading global sustainable business communications, where she championed everything from supply chain transparency to employee empowerment initiatives. A trained facilitator of the 2030 SDG game and mother to 14-year-old Isa, Naila somehow manages to juggle international clients, podcast hosting, and developing a children's book series about sustainability. Fun fact, she owns an impressive collection of unread books and has been planning to learn guitar for approximately a decade.
Yes, those are the books. And you're right. And it's the bass guitar. And I still want to learn it. amongst the Portuguese that I want to learn too. Maybe Isa can learn the guitar for me.
Anytime you want a lesson, you just let me know.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. So yes, we're going to get into this. Let me introduce you first and stop calling me special. We're all special.
You're special.
I love how you say it as well.
Special guest.
So let me introduce my special guest, Quinn Harrington, who is the CEO and Chief Brand Concierge at HDC. Is it HDCO or HDCO?
HDCO is short for Harrington Design Company.
It's a branding agency that builds brands people love. I love it. For companies including TransUnion, Nielsen, ESPN, and the PGA Tour. A second-generation DJ with over 2 decades of experience in design, strategy, and video production. Quinn transforms complex business challenges into compelling brand stories. Her work spans from brand identity, marketing communication to keynote videos that get C-suite executives pumped up before big presentation. That's very true as well. I've heard all about these presentations. And if you want to know more, get in touch with Quinn. When she's not creating magic, brand magic, Quinn can be found planning elaborate trips to England, pending her passport approval. We've been waiting. I love this one, perfecting her fleece-lined tights collection for London weather. Or philosophical, this is funny as well. Your ultimate and ongoing conversations with Claude, the AI assistant, whether you're planning your business strategy or a Thanksgiving menu. And you've taught me so much as well in the process of that.
Thank you. And thank you to Claude for that shameless self-promotion.
Yes, but there's a fun fact as well. The fun fact is you once convinced a major bank to open a conference with a techno music video, and somehow it worked brilliantly. Can you tell me very quickly what was that about?
So the COO had this big CTO conference, and it's like 500 of Citibank's top tech nerds. They invited Michael Dell, who founded Dell Computers, and this guy wanted to hype up the crowd. And he also happened to be a fan of Chemical Brothers, which is like a sort of a 90s techno band.
Mm-hmm.
And so he shared a track with us. We listened to it. And our first immediate thought was, you can't play this at a corporate conference. People will freak out. And we decided to take the risk anyways and kind of shook up the industry of keynote videos, at least for that industry, because nobody had ever heard anything like that or seen anything like that before. But being naive and creative, nobody told us we couldn't do that, so we did. And that was kind of the beginning of our keynote video history.
That is amazing. And you know what? That's a lesson, right? You're never going to know until you try. And you need to be able to experiment with things. So you came up with techno for tech people, basically.
You know what? That just occurred to me.
What?
Might have to add that to my speech. Shall we move to the near segment?
Near.
And now I was thinking about this. Do I want to ask you something which is business related, or do I want to ask something that is more personal?
Nobody cares about the business stuff. Let's go personal.
Okay, good. So, what's next in your immediate world is basically, have you got a personal goal that you want to tick off by the end of this year?
Finishing this first season and planning for the next one. So, I mean, that's huge.
So, in my near is moving into a bigger house, and
Yes.
I've got a plan for end of this year. Which will be great for our podcast as well, because I will have a dedicated room, and we've been talking about how we can improve everything. So that's on the plan for this year. And then the other one is something I've been saying forever is how do I shift my business and how I manage the work I do.
Let's go across the pond.
Across the pond.
We're going to do something a little different. We're going to play a game.
Oh, no.
So before we get into the game, 2 truths and a lie, I do have one question. What does Scooby mean?
You know, I will have to find out. But the first thing that comes to my mind when you say Scooby is Scooby-Doo.
Well, that's what I thought too. And then I heard it in this Netflix show And they might be more Scottish than British. But they were talking about something about being Scooby or that's Scooby,
Yeah.
and I was just like,
Yeah.
it's like maybe Naila knows, but she doesn't.
It's like a slang and a Cockney thing. So when you go into the eastern side of London, we call it the Cockney area. So where I was born, East London, they do a lot of these words and they rhyme. They rhyme the words and it actually means something. So in this one, I read up on it, Scooby-Doo, clue. So basically it means I have no clue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it was a crime show. And so maybe that's what they were saying is I have no clue.
Yes. It's quite
Could
funny.
be.
And I'm wondering if Scooby-Doo actually came from that because Scooby-Doo is a bit clueless as well, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I think we just solved a mystery. I'm going to give you 3 statements about myself, and you tell me which one is a lie.
Okay, go on.
I failed out of college. I hiked the Appalachian Trail. I'm Japanese.
So wait, can you repeat that then?
I failed out of college. I hiked the Appalachian Trail. I'm Japanese.
You got a trick in there, isn't it? Because the first instinct I'm going to say is you're not Japanese. That's a lie.
You're incorrect.
I'm incorrect?
I dodged the whole thing about all the places that I've been in your earlier question.
Yeah.
Because I was born in Japan.
Oh. Not by
And then,
ethnicity, but you were born in Japan.
Right, I'm not ethnically Japanese, obviously. But I was born in Japan outside of this town called Tachikawa. I lived there for 2 years. So I'm actually like a naturalized citizen of America. But when I turned 18, my dad asked me, he's like, so now that you're 18, you have the opportunity to become a dual citizen of Japan and America. And I was like, why would I want to do that? Like, I live here. Didn't realize at the time how amazing that could have been to have been a dual citizen of both countries, but it's too late now.
Oh, wow. You know, I started looking at you like, you're not Japanese.
I don't know what gave that away. Kind of insulted, frankly. All right, you go.
Oh, no, this is a tough one here. Okay, so I have 4 tattoos. We're 6 sisters and a brother, and I'm an Oxford graduate.
You don't have any tattoos.
No, I have 4.
Oh, how many brothers and sisters do you have? I know you had a lot of them.
We're 6 sisters and a brother.
Well,
11
which one
nephew
is a
and
lie?
nieces. So the Oxford one, I haven't graduated from Oxford.
Oh, you went to Oxford. You graduated from Cambridge, right?
Both of them were just short courses, so I can't really say I graduated from there.
I see. Well, I think we're going to have to go in and update that LinkedIn page because that is a little misleading.
Really? But it says I did diploma in Cambridge sustainability. And I did a leadership in women's in leadership course from Oxford.
Hey, you know what? I visited Harvard. That doesn't mean that I graduated from there.
That's why I never say I
I
graduated.
can't put that on my LinkedIn resume.
Hey, they encourage us.
You know
so
what?
when you finish,
You're not special anymore.
But it's good to have it on the CV, right? You completed the course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Quinn, this is our last segment. We're getting into our future.
The future.
If you were to create a dream project, now it could be a personal one or it could be a work one, and that dream project had no limits, what would that dream project be?
Okay, so I have an idea for a graphic design game show. Or not a game show, it's a reality show. You have this really vivacious Gordon Ramsay type art director who takes a bunch of like senior graphic design students and we follow them for 8 weeks. There's 8 episodes and they have to face a challenge each week. And so we'll create all these different rules for the game. We have this idea of like the golden pen for your pen tablet. So if you win a challenge, you get this and you get to wear this. And so this all kind of stems from all these Food Network.
MasterChef and...
Yes, all these Food Network competitions I've watched over the years. The winner wins $50,000 and is guaranteed a job at some agency. And the cool part about it is it's not just the competition. We get to watch them grow throughout this 8-week period as they go from seniors to becoming adults ready for the workforce. And I think it would be a fascinating concept. We just need a big sponsor who is willing to give us between $500,000 and $1 million.
I do love this idea because I love every type of these kind of reality shows. I'm not into Love Islands and blind dates and things, but I love the cooking
I see it all the time
shows.
on Discovery Plus, and I was like, I don't know. I watch it from time to time, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't get it.
I am a big, big fan of RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm currently watching the Philippines one right now with subtitles.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. We all even go when they're in the UK, when they have shows, the Drag Race shows. I kind of try and go there. So, anyone listening to this podcast and you're interested in Quinn's idea, reach out. She will patent this idea or whatever, copyright it, obviously. So, yeah, reach out. It would be fun. I would love to watch it. I'll come as a supporter.
My wrap question for you is, looking back, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Looking back, what would I tell my 20-year-old self?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a really tricky one though, isn't it? It wouldn't be around the work stuff, right? Because I've pretty much always followed my passion. What I would tell myself is a bit personal, is don't leave things too late. So I had a baby at 46, and there were many opportunities. Had I done a bit of research or talked to people about it, I would have known that actually it would have been better if I, for example, froze my eggs earlier when I was 20 something. And that for me was one of those regrets in life, that I just focused on, work and my relationships, but never, and I thought, I have time, and I ran out of that. And so, yeah, that's my one thing I would tell my 20-year-old self. So,
All
it's
right.
time for the
You
wrap,
ready
isn't
for the
it?
wrap?
It
Yes,
is. It's
wrap.
time for the wrap. So that wraps our episode for Now, Near, in the Future. You can find us on all the usual platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, and X at Now Near Future, or visit us at nownearfuture.com.
If you love this episode, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you didn't, just pretend this was a very long Around the Room segment that got completely out of hand.
Where do they find you online?
You can find me at hdco.co. You can find me on Instagram and at hdco. You can find me on LinkedIn.
And you can find me on LinkedIn, so either by Naila Mir or P3 Connect, and the same on Instagram and Facebook.
Naila, thank you so much for joining us as our special guest. We really appreciate you being here.
Has anyone ever told you that you're weird? I'm joking. You're not. You're the sweetest
You
person.
really need to work on your sarcasm and your biting critique. I was like, oh man, I feel bad that she's even asking that question.
No, people, Quinn is the sweetest, most helpful person you will know. So yes, she's not
I am
weird at all.
also extremely weird. So
we will hear about that next time.
as always, stay curious and keep dreaming.
And we will see you in the future.